I've been running this cafe for almost 4 years, and people having finally started showing up enough to be called regulars. Regina comes by every morning after her run, where she orders a coffee, hot, and 2 donuts to take home to her kids. They're going to love these, I promise her. Cherry filling. Regina laughs. You're going to spoil them, Leah. I swear, they're more excited to see what donuts you've given them than they are to see me get back. To be fair, these are some pretty great donuts, I tell her, passing them over. The donuts are wrapped up in white paper and put into a bag that has my cafe name, Rosewaller, on the front. We only chat for a moment longer, and then Regina steps out of the cafe. For a moment, I'm left on my own, the only person left in the cafe. These little breaks between customers don't come often. I always try to use them as a chance to clean up the place, so I make to step around the side of the counter. But there's a sudden shift. It's like the whole world jerks just a little bit to the left. I stumble, tripping over my feet, and thump my hip against the edge of the counter. A hand snaps out, steadying myself on the counter. Crap! Careful, says a familiar voice. It's Mike, one of the other regulars. He's standing just a few feet away from me, wide-eyed. His hair is longer than usual, and he's wearing a t-shirt instead of his normal button-up. When did he come into the cafe? The bell above the door didn't ring. I'm fine, I say. Must have just stepped on a wet spot. I'll clean it up in a moment. Turning back to look at Mike, I ask, You want the usual? You know it, Mike says. I go back behind the counter and start making Mike's usual. I haven't gotten very far into it when I hear Mike clearing his throat. What's up? I don't mean to be that customer, but what are you doing? Mike asks. I hold up the latte that I'm making. Your usual? My usual is a chai tea, Mike says with a laugh. You must have had a long day. I stare at him, my mouth hanging partially open. You've never ordered a chai tea from me. I mean, yeah, Mike says. That's the only thing I ever get when I come in here. Are you okay, Leah? My mouth curls into a frown. Fine. I turn and start making up a chai tea. Just more tired than I thought I was. You look it, Mike tells me. He tries to make small talk, but I can't focus. Nothing is where I thought it had been. The spoons and knives have switched spots. The paper is a pale shade of yellow, not white. And when I grab a donut out for him, it's filled with raspberry jam, not cherry. But most bizarre of all, when I grab a bag to put the donut in, it says Daisy Row on it. That's not the name of my cafe. Mike asks, Are you okay? Yeah, I look around. Now that I'm trying to pay attention, there are subtle differences in the decorations of the cafe. Flowers that are the wrong color. Tables missing the hand-picked decor that I'd put together. Just little things, but it leaves me unsettled. I hand the bag to Mike. Our fingers touch. He leans forward and drops his voice into a whisper. Don't let them know. I freeze. What? If you've realized that you don't belong here, just pretend that you do. They can't know, says Mike, his voice a whisper. Then, from behind him, Regina asks, Is something wrong with the order, Mike? She's already been in today, wearing her jogging clothes without her kids. But now, she's dressed up like she's just gone on a date. Long red summer dress and her hair done up, with both kids trailing along behind her. Mike pulls back, looking flustered. No, just almost dropped it. He turns and hurries out of the cafe. There's no bell above the door to signal when it opens or closes. Regina watches him, frowning, and then turns back to me. Get the goblin something. I can't help but feel like it's a test. There's something wrong here. And Regina, she must be at the heart of it. She's the last person that I served before this weird déjà vu sensation took over, too. All right, I say, trying to put as much chipperness into my words as I can. I need to be smart about this. Mike, he looked different. He ordered something different. But it was almost a direct opposite of what he normally gets. And Regina, she's dressed in the opposite too. So what would the opposite of jelly-filled donuts be? I think ice donuts, probably. I grab 2 of those and wrap them up, trying not to stare at the weirdly colored paper or the strange bags. I pass them over to Regina without a word, and she just stares at me, hard. Then she turns and leaves the cafe, her 2 children in tow. It's only as they leave that I realize one of the kids, Billy, is holding a knife. Oh my God. I don't know what's going on, but I'm suddenly filled with the urge to get the hell away from this cafe. I hurry to grab my things, trying not to feel sick over the fact that my bag is a whole different color from usual, and it's got a red bow on the side of it, instead of a slew of pins that I've carefully collected over the years. I hurry outside, slamming the door shut and locking it. When I spin around, it's to find that someone across the street has stopped what they're doing and staring at me. Do I know them? Honestly, I'm so freaked out that I've got no idea. But Mike, he told me not to let anyone know I realized that something was wrong. I give a quick wave of my hand and keep going, rushing down the pavement towards my house. Every now and then, I realize that someone has stopped and is staring at me. That just makes me more frantic, even though I know that I need to be trying to make them think that nothing's wrong. I don't even know what is wrong. Not really. Just that something isn't right with this whole situation. So I run. Down one street, then the next. I take a turn, and around the corner, I should come face to face with my own house, but I don't. There's something else there instead. Well, someone else's house. I can tell because there's a playground in the front yard and a young boy sitting out on the swing. As I stand there, staring ahead of me in abject horror, I find myself struggling to even figure out what I'm supposed to do. I take a step backwards. A hand curls around my shoulder, stopping me. Regina's voice is sharp in my ear when she says, "What are you doing here?" I think about what Mike said, but I know that my cover is already blown. She knows that I'm not from here. I don't know what's going on. I twist around in her grip and shove her. Regina is expecting it. Her children are standing on the far side of the pavement. Her son is no longer carrying the knife. Regina is... I reach up, trying to shake my hands at her, to calm her down. No, you have to understand. I haven't done anything. I was giving you your donuts, and then something happened. This isn't where I'm supposed to be. You're right. It's not, says Regina. We've been trying to find someone to work that cafe for years, but this always happens. It doesn't matter how many parallels we try and pull into this one. Something always goes wrong. What is it about you Leahs that makes you so aware? You sound insane, I tell her, taking a step backwards. Wrong move. The moment that I try to put more distance between us, Regina lunges forward and strikes out with the knife. She shouts, "We need to try again, and I can't do that if you're still running around. This city must be perfect." What is that even supposed to mean? I demand, trying to shove her backwards. The blade cuts over my palm. Bright red blood spills to the surface. It means that I need to erase you and start again. Regina makes another wild swing. I take off, running as fast as I can. And then she gives chase, racing after me with the knife bared. The sunlight glints off of the sharp edges of the metal. and the whole world seems to shift, curling around me. It feels like I'm running through a dream, but I know that it's all too real. The city is the same around me, but different too. Small things. The light post is on the wrong side of the street. The house is the wrong color. "Help me!" I scream. "Help!" But even though people look my way, no one tries to intervene. They all know what Regina is doing, and they support it. Where's Mike? If I can get to him, then maybe... But no, there's no time. The blade cuts a line across the curve of my back and I go falling forward, slamming into the pavement. My hands scrape over the cement, and my knees and my chin cracks against it so hard that I can feel the ache up into my teeth. I roll onto my back. Regina steps over top of me, staring down at me. She holds the blade up above me, telling me, You weren't the right pick. I'll have to do better next time." And then the blade drives down into my chest. And the last thought I have is this: I hope that I can wake up again soon.
Subscribe today, or beware.